Hey there, it's my microphone. I'm sorry for the headphone wearers. Today we're going to look at this pen. This is the Mars Rover pen made by John Hubbard. Now, you may remember, if you're a regular viewer, at some point I reviewed a 3D printed pen called the Moon Landing pen. It was 3D printed and John developed that, and now he has developed the Mars pen. Mars, we have found, is not as red as we thought it was. There are a lot of cool features on this pen to commemorate the Mars rover landing, and like things like rovering on the surface of Mars, and this is that pen. So again, a lot of thought went into this. There's some cool design features I will share with you. That's all I have. So I'm going to cover the parts of the pen. I'll do a writing sample. I'll tell you what I like and what I don't like, and that's pretty much it. If you like astronomy, this could be a fun one to check out. So, let's do it. Okay, let's talk about the Artcraft Mars Rover pen. So like I said, made by John Hubbard. 47 pieces of this pen were made because there were 47 attempts to send things like orbiters, landers, rovers, etc. to Mars. It comes with a certificate of authenticity, a rickshaw pen sleeve that I will show you, and a 5 milliliter bottle of Colorverse Mars ink, which I think is very, very cute. It also, it's a tiny bottle. It has a very narrow neck, and it comes with a tiny little eyedropper that you can use, which is very thin. You can slip into a converter and fill up the converter that way, because the converter barely even fits in that bottle. Okay, let's look at box, etc. Opens up. Here we have that custom rickshaw pen sleeve in kind of a brown and black. It's a nice combination. We have the business card for John. Artcraft pens. He's in Alabama. We have this for the rickshaw pen sleeve, and then there is, of course, the actual pen, which I shall show you here next to a Pilot Metropolitan. Fairly similar in shape to the Moon Landing pen. I could do a shootout between the two. They're very similar pens though, but if people are interested, I can show you to them side by side. Number 6, high performance steel nib by franklin-christoph. It's a Yovo nib. Converter is included. The pen is handmade. It's warranted. It has a ceramic coating, and there's a lot going on, details about Mars. So Mars, not as red as we thought it was. It's more brownish, hence the brown pen. We have the trace of the Mars rover on the pen. There is a light X somewhere on the pen. I wonder if it is this, but that is actually the shadow of the Intrepid helicopter that was released there. And then you have this kind of the Mars landscape. It almost, to me, but let me know if I'm off here, it almost looks to me like leather, but it really is I thought it was 3D printed pen. But it kind of has that texture to me. Okay, let's cover the parts of the pen, and then I will do a writing sample. Oh, and I should point out price, sorry. It's $270 US. That is for, I'm about to sneeze, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. So that is the special edition of the pen. There is also a standard edition, which is $255, and on the website you can find all the differences between the pens. The basic pen is the same. It's just this one is numbered. I'll get to that. You know what? I'll get to that. Okay, so cap of the pen. You have those rover tracks on them. You have some Martian landscape on top. Same material as the rest of the pen. Then we have cap, barrel. It's fairly light because it's a plastic pen. Cap, the moon landing pen, had a slip cap that would just slip on. Now we have threads. I like the threads a little bit better because with the slip-on cap I was always a little nervous that I might push it on too far and bend the nib. I don't even think that was possible. It was just an irrational fear as B.R.E. Brown. Now here we have more of that, the Mars landscape, more of the Rover tracks, and here I don't know how well you can see, this is number 6 out of 47. Oh, it catches the light just right. And then John Hubbard's signature on it. Section, nice, a little darker brown with fairly coarse threads. By coarse I don't mean sharp, I just mean they're not very fine. So when you dip this into a bottle of ink, you don't really get ink stuck here that is not easily wiped off. Black nib, Franklin-Christoph. This is a medium. I won't say medium. Yes, it's a medium. Jowo nib though. You can unscrew this, put any Jowo nib on pretty easily. We have the feed there, and then the pen is fed by cartridge-converter. This is the Colorverse Mars ink in it, which is a nice ink I found. Section screws back in, and then if you want to, you can post the pen. You have a nicely sized pen, but even unposted, I think for many people this would work well because it's plastic and quite light. Even when you post it, it does not become top heavy. So let's have a look. I'll zoom out a little bit. Let's have a look at this pen. So what we have here is the Artcraft Mars Rover medium steel nib, and the ink is Colorverse Mars. This was, I believe, my first Colorverse ink. I don't really recollect having used them before. I find it a very pleasant ink and a lovely shade. Reminds me a little of what is the one from Diamine, the autumn, it's called Autumn Leaves or something, a little bit like that. Nice, well shading brown, and a this is a really strange thing, but the ink is transparent, translucent. It's clear, so you can see through it. I don't know, I always like that in ink. I really don't know why, it makes no sense. Okay, fast writing. Pretty good. That was a little bit of a skip there, but that could have been me. I feel overall it's kept up pretty well. I mean, Jowo nib, right? Franklin-Christoph. It's not too wet, not too dry. Nicely tuned. This is a really round nib. No real line variation in any way. It's not a flex nib. You can probably squeeze out a little bit of line variation, but be very careful. It's not meant to be flexed. What about reverse writing? Reverse. Okay. Writing. Canal. It sort of writes, but it's not great, right? It dries out. So maybe just get a finer grade if you want a finer nib. And that's really all there's to it. I think what we should do is talk about likes and dislikes. And look at that shading. Isn't that a lovely bit of shading there? I really like this ink. Cool that you get a bit of ink with the pen. So let's talk again about likes and dislikes. What do I like and what do I not like about this pen? I think there's a lot to be liked. These kinds of pens are special pens for a special audience. Not everybody likes this kind of stuff. And I think you have to appreciate the amount of design that went into this pen, just like with the moon landing pen. I think the price of $270, and that's for the limited edition. That there is a standard edition which is a bit less expensive. There's also rollerball options if you prefer that. So there are some price options. I think that price is fair given the amount of research and development that has gone into this, the amount of detail on the pen, but also the fact that there is not 5 million of these pens, right? These are made in smaller batches, and I think you have to appreciate that fact. I like the overall look of the pen. It commemorates a lot of the Mars rover stuff, which I think is really cool. So I was just kind of mesmerized looking at it. I think that is really nice. It's a nice size of pen. It does have the ceramic coating, so that's kind of cool. It's a comfortable size and posted lovely pen. I like that the threads are placed at the nib end of the pen, which you see sometimes, and typically when that is done, my comment is, and that means ink gets stuck in them when you ink up the pen with a converter. You dip it in a bottle of ink. That's the same thing here, but because they're fairly coarse threads, I don't mean sharp, I just mean they're not super fine. It's very easy to clean off. So I've had no issues with that. I like all that. I like the detail. I like the writing experience. I mean, it's a Franklin-Christoph nib. It's Jovo nib, easy to swap out if you would like another type of nib on it. I like all that. The only thing I would say that has happened to me once or twice, I'll see if I can simulate it, is that in unscrewing the cap, I actually accidentally unscrewed the entire barrel. Well, you know, that sometimes happens. You want to make sure that does not happen. Really make sure the section is tightened well into the barrel, and then it should not be an issue. Now it doesn't happen anymore. So there is all that. That's really it. Specialized pen, I think, specialized audience, not for the general public, so to speak, necessarily, but there's nothing wrong with that. I like it a lot. I think it's a lot of fun. Comes in a very complete package with the tiny bottle of ink, with the sleeve. It's well thought through. I think that's lovely. So there you have it. Hope this was useful. John, kind thank you for sending me the pen. And that's all there is to it. So, see you next time. Bye.